Time to follow-up segment tonight. The murder trial of Dr. Kermit Gosnell continues in Philadelphia. Yesterday, a judge dismissed 3 of the charges against him after the defense said the prosecution could not prove that 3 babies were born alive before Gosnell killed them in a gruesome way. But Gosnell is still charged with murdering 4 other babies and also a woman who died during an abortion he performed. But if you're watching the network TV news in the evening, you probably don't know much about Kermit Gosnell because they're not covering him to any extent. Angry about that, 72 members of Congress have written 3 separate letters to the network news chiefs expressing outrage at the lack of coverage. Joining us now from Washington, one of those lawmakers, Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. So what do the letters say in essence?
What we have done is ask for clarification as to their choices to not cover this. What we would like to know is the reasoning behind that. We think that this is a terribly disturbing issue. And Bill, what we would like to know is are they not covering it because it is poor women in minority neighborhoods, or is it because they ideologically and politically are trying to cover abortion practices, even in cases such as the Gosnell House of Horrors?
Okay, now, 2 of the chiefs did not respond to you, NBC
correct.
and ABC, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And NBC and ABC, their nightly newscasts, did not cover the Gosnell story or the trial at all. 0 coverage. Now, CBS did respond. I have their response. It comes from a woman named Sonia McNair, CBS News spokesperson. Quote, CBS News is among the first national news organizations to shine a light on the Gosnell matter with a full report on the CBS News on January 2011, in January. Also, after our owned and operated station KYW broke the story locally in Philadelphia, we continue to follow the case, and they cite CBS this morning and all of that. Okay, so while CBS News did not cover the trial, which is underway now, they did cover the case. Does that let them off the hook?
No, it doesn't let them off the hook. They covered the proceedings there at the grand jury and the fact that that was the case. But you've had a 6-week trial in which this has been borne out with the victims that were a part of this House of Horrors, and they have chosen not to step forward. I will say that the president of CBS did call our office, and we're looking forward to having a written response to him. What we want to make certain is that there is justice for these victims and that this practice is ended.
Yeah, well, I think there's going to be justice for the victims. My opinion is the guy's going to be convicted. They didn't even call any witnesses. I don't know whether you know that or not. But
yes,
Gosnell attorney didn't even call any witnesses. He just rested, and it goes into deliberations next week. There's no way on earth this guy's going to walk. Whether he gets the death penalty, I'm not sure. I'd probably be life in prison for this guy. But the bigger question is this. Many people believe, Bernie Goldberg believes it, I believe it to some extent, that the network news in totality is pro-choice. And they don't want to cover any story that puts abortion per se in a bad light. And I think that's what this is all about from your point of view. You believe that. And now you're spotlighting the fact that they ignored this trial where 7 babies had their spines snipped by a scissor after being birthed. Now, 3 of those accounts have been thrown out, as we said. But that is a big story. You're coming out of, look, the reason they're not covering this is because they're pro-choice and they don't want to besmirch abortion.
Well, and the fact is, as you said, the defense called no witnesses, and Gosnell never took the stand. And what we are hearing is there are other clinics. As we have researched this, 15 of our states over the last 3 years have instituted investigations into abortion clinics and Planned Parenthood clinics in their states. And you've got examples in Delaware where 2 Planned Parenthood pro-choice nurses quit because, as they said in their words, ridiculously unsafe mass market style abortion clinics. And then you've got 80 clinics in Virginia that the Richmond newspaper reported. The Baltimore Sun reported the closure of 3 abortion clinics, one in which a patient lost her life. And Bill, this is the kind of thing that is being swept under the rug,
We're not hearing a lot
about it. It is not
but
on
you
the
know
mainstream
why?
news.
Because the media is sympathetic to the abortion lobby. And President Obama, what's he doing on Friday morning? He's addressing the Planned Parenthood convention.
That's exactly right, and he was going to address their big fundraising dinner on Thursday night, and now is going to be in Texas and will address their organization on Friday morning.
Right.
We think this is just, it is completely unacceptable.
All right, Congresswoman, we're going to have a major factor investigation on this very subject on Monday. So I want everybody to tune in, and what you're going to see on Monday is going to startle you. When we come right back, Dennis Miller on the Bomber Brothers. Miller is